Hello there everybody, it is me Leo and welcome back to another video. So today we're back with another speed build and this time we're building a house called the Federal Dream Home. So this one is a traditional style home. It's got 3 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. So before I talk more about the build, I just want to take a second to make a little bit of an announcement for you guys. So for those of you guys who didn't know, I will be celebrating my birthday in a couple of weeks, and also I will also be celebrating my channel's 5-year anniversary on YouTube. Both of those really important times and events in my life kind of coincide, not by coincidence because I kind of did it intentionally, but basically to mark that special occasion, I am planning to do a Q&A video. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below or tweet me, or you guys know where to find me on social media, so feel free to, send me your comments and your questions and I will answer them in the Q&A video. I was planning to do a giveaway, but I found out that I was only going to be able to basically give away to people living in certain countries, and I did not feel like that was fair for everybody, so I went ahead and just decided to do a Q&A video as well for those of you guys who are interested to getting to know me better. So you guys can ask me anything, don't worry about it. So go ahead and you guys go ask me questions and stuff. So back to this build. Basically, I wanted to do kind of like a more traditional home because it's been so long since I've done one. I feel like all of my builds this year have been like modern ones. I did like a couple of retro builds, but technically those are still modern. So this is like my first official traditional style build for 2018. Anyway, so I really wanted to do this kind of like neoclassical style home, and I really wanted to make this really grand portico in front. So you guys can see I'm using these walls to basically make these 2-story columns, and on top of it there is this triangular pediment that I'm putting on top of it, and basically there's a train passing by outside and it's distracting me, but basically I ended up making kind of like this federal style home, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's federal style. It's a type of neoclassical architecture that exists in the United States, specifically in the East Coast. This is kind of like a mixture of vernacular, colonial, neoclassical, and Palladian. So basically the main feature of this home is this front portico that's got 4 2-story columns. I'm using air quotes because technically there aren't really any 2-story columns in The Sims 4. I got no idea why we still don't have it yet, because in The Sims 2 and in The Sims 3 we had 2-story columns. In The Sims 3 you can actually adjust the height of the columns up to 3 stories high, so I don't understand why we can't do that in The Sims 4, but I used walls instead. And then of course there's this triangular pediment. A lot of you guys might recognize this, especially if you live in the States. This is like a pretty quintessential style house, I guess. Obviously it's got a lot of features that's very similar to the White House or Monticello, which I believe was designed by Thomas Jefferson, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so earlier I mentioned that there were some features that were Palladian inspired, and you guys can see that in the front, you guys can't see it now, but in front there is this one window. It's an arched window, but on either side there are there's just 2 like rectangular shaped windows, and that is actually called a Palladian style window. So you guys can see a little bit of it peeking in front, but basically, yeah, it's a pretty awesome build if I do say so myself. I had so much fun building it. It also took me way longer to finish than I was initially expecting because the interior was just incredibly elaborate. I didn't intend for it to be super elaborate from the very beginning, but I found myself having way too much fun putting in the clutter items and just decorating the interior that I was like, you know what, it's probably going to be a little bit more of a longer video, but whatever. I just went with it and I just made everything so detailed. So speaking of the interior, that is what we're working on right now. Basically the outside, it's just pretty simple and straightforward. It's basically like a square house with a hip roof, but because it has the portico in front, I think it gives it a little bit more stately and like dignified essence to it. I don't even know. Every time this train passes by, like, I get distracted and I lose train of thought. So apologies if I'm being very inconsistent right now, but I think that the train, it stops running at like 10 p.m. and that is just too late for me to wait to do this recording, so whatever. Anyway, let's get back to the build. So the interior, let me tell you guys, I love the interior. I love it. I think this living room right here, it's like my favorite area ever. It's just so different from the layout that I'm usually used to doing, because obviously you guys can see that the living area itself is on a diagonal, and then, you know, like, I don't know, there's a piano on like one of the walls, and it's just a very interesting layout. Overall, I think it came together really well. It has this really homey feel, which I really liked. And I also really love the color scheme as well. I love the pastel colors and how everything just complements each other. And yeah, I also used these rugs. I'm not sure what they came with. I think they might have came with either Laundry Day or Jungle Adventure, but I love using those rugs. They look so awesome, and I just really like the color schemes that they came with. They have this like contemporary / traditional look, which I really liked. So for this room, I did put a ceiling. It's a pretty elaborate ceiling. I used some shelves to, you know, make a more elaborate ceiling detail. And basically I do these ceiling details in other rooms as well, like the dining room. I also do it for the master bedroom as well, but those parts I had to edit out because this video was going on way too long. I wanted to include some parts of me actually doing the clutter and placing the clutter items, because I thought that some of you guys might be interested to seeing that, so I had to edit out a lot of the video because of that. Like, there's this one part where I built the back porch, and I had to edit that out because it's pretty similar to the front, except the back part doesn't have a portico. So yes, hopefully I'm not using terms that are too technical. You guys can follow me, but you guys probably know it. Like, you guys know the White House portico, and you know the pediments and the columns and stuff. The pediment, in case you guys don't know, it's this triangular like piece of architectural detail. They come in either triangle, there's also an arched pediment, and I think there's a broken pediment as well, but for this one I just went very basic and I just went for a triangular one as well. So moving on to the dining room, I really love the dining room as well. I love the color scheme that I chose. I also really love the furniture that I used for this room. I thought that that was a pretty interesting choice. I love these chairs. These ones came with Jungle Adventure. and I think it's the first time that I'm actually using those. I really love the look of them. They've got this traditional / contemporary look, which I also really liked as well. I also love this like table centerpiece. So basically I'm using these beautiful sunflowers and lavenders that came with pets, and then this kind of like tray of succulents that I believe came with laundry day, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys can see that it looks really cool. I put a little candle underneath it, and it just looks really awesome. I really like all that detail with the table, and like I said earlier, I really like all the furniture that is in the dining room. Like, yeah, it's all pretty symmetrical, but that was kind of my intention because I wanted everything to look so kind of put together and dignified, I guess. So yeah, it's kind of like, it has this like really nice subtle dignity to it, but it's also got this like really lived in feel. So that's what I was going for. Also, I'm doing this little technique where I size down these lamps and use them as table lamps, which was really fun. I don't know why, I don't know if this is like a traditional thing or not, but having mirrors on the dining room, I feel like every like traditional house I come across has one, so I typically put those you know, in my homes as well. And let's see here. Yeah, anyway, so for those of you guys who are wondering what I've been up to recently, if you follow me on Twitter, you wouldn't be surprised to know how much of a hard time I've been having at work. Obviously, I've been ranting kind of like about it on Twitter. Not, you know, it's not like an epic rant or whatever, but I've been dropping hints of how hard it's been to be at work recently, because I feel like my workload just got exponentially higher. Like, there's a couple of people at work that left temporarily to take their board exams because that's happening later this month. But because of that, oh my gosh, there's like so much pressure on me to work fast, and it's just, it's honestly, there's some times where I honestly just felt hopeless. And yeah, I obviously, being resilient as I am, I'm not gonna succumb to these doubts, but holy crap, has it been really difficult this past few weeks. But I know that I'm gonna get over it. So I don't want to make this too much of a rant video because typically I just don't like to be all that negative, but I feel like you guys need to know that. P.S. I'm not seeking for validation or anything, I just wanted you guys to know about that, so let's move on. So for the kitchen area, I feel like these are my favorite counters because I love the white that they came with. These ones came with vampire stuff. They're perfect. The white color that they are, it's just perfect. It looks really clean and crisp, just like how I want my kitchens to be, so that is pretty awesome. And yeah, the kitchen, it's a pretty standard layout for me. I did throw in a couple of things that I don't normally put, like that cookie tray. I feel like that's a little bit more luxurious, but I feel like it does fit into this kind of house. But oh my gosh, I totally forgot, of course, as always, to talk about who are going to be living in this house. So I built this house for a small family that's got a cat. I imagine them to be a little bit more on the upper middle class side. They probably inherited this house from, like, I don't know, from an ancestor or something. I don't know. Maybe they bought it themselves, but whatever. Oh, by the way, I'm putting these flowers on top of the counter cabinets because my mom does that. In my parents' home, they have these like flower arrangements on top of these cabinets, and I just wanted to incorporate that little piece. But anyway, for the family that lives here, they got one child, and it's a couple, relatively successful couple. That's why I included an office, because I imagine maybe one of them works from home or something like that. And they have a cat. A lot of the cat stuff you guys won't see me put because I had to edit those out because the video was going way too long. But a lot of the cat stuff I did put in the kids' room, so if it's in the kids' room, you guys will see me put it. But like other things like the litter box, I think, and I think I put a cat jungle and a cat scratchy thing and like a cat pet bowl and stuff like that. You guys won't see me put it because I put it in the hallway and I edited out the hallway, and also I edited out the bathrooms as well. Like all of the bathrooms, typically I leave like one bathroom in my builds, but for this one I was just like not feeling the bathrooms. Like they were fine, but I felt like I'd rather show you guys something else, so I just took out the footage of me furnishing the bathroom. By the way, I love this little office area. It's probably like my favorite one because just the clutter. I really like how the clutter looked. It made it look really put together, not in a, you know, put together clean way, in a put together like office looking way where everything is intentionally, you know, all over the place and not necessarily, you know, the most organized, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I really like how the office came out in the end. And yeah, basically there's just a computer here and also chess tables, so you know, the Sims can hang out here if they want some peace and quiet. You know, if the kids are bothering them too much, this is a place for them to take a break from it all. So yeah, I really like it. Right now we are moving on to the upstairs, actually. Surprise. But for the master bedroom, let me tell you guys, I really love the master bedroom. It's really large and spacious. I love how it's got these like sliding doors. Well, it's not sliding doors, but I love how it's got these doors that lead to the gigantic balcony outside. I also played around a little bit with the color scheme, but of course I just went ahead and settled for a little bit more of a basic color scheme. So I used a lot of whites and blues, which I had no objections to whatsoever because I think it still came out really nice. And I'm using this technique that I got from a good friend of mine, Hey Harry, where she puts together these beds and these love seats, and the love seat kind of works as like the headboard. I think this works, to be honest. I'm guilty, I have not tested this out yet, but I do think it works. I really like the look of those curtains behind the bed, but I think it was just one too many details going on, so I just had to take them out because I felt that the headboard itself was already pretty eye-catching. So I just took it out. But yeah, I really liked how this room came together in the end. I liked how I was able to fit in, you know, a walk-in closet. And also I put the TV on a different spot. Typically I put it like on a, you know, on the table somewhere, but in this case I actually put it like behind the dresser. And I know typically people would put like a mirror in the dresser, but on the bedside tables there's already like a couple of mirrors, so you know, I just really liked how, you know, the combination of different aspects is a little bit more unconventional in this case. So yeah. By the way, for those of you guys who are watching this on the day of the release, it is my country's Independence Day. I'm so excited. June 12th is my country's Independence Day. I actually don't know how many years it's been since the Philippines has gained independence from Spain, but I think it's 120 years actually of Philippine independence. So to all of the Filipinos out there, happy independence. I love you all. Mabuhay to us all. Anyway, I'm actually planning a special build for that. I might release it later this week, so yes, I'm gonna talk more about that when that comes out. But now we are moving on to the kids' bedroom, and at this point I've already furnished, I think, the master bathroom, so you guys can see like some glimpses of it over to the right. But for the kids' bedroom, I gotta say I really like it. I don't know what possessed me. Typically I'm really bad at making these kids' bedroom, but I kind of just put myself into the shoes of this child that's going to be occupying this bedroom. So basically this is where I put like a lot of this stuff for their cat. I actually am an animal lover. Like, you guys don't know how much time I spent outdoors as a child, just catching bugs and just, you know, digging, you know, like artificial lakes on the mud and stuff like that. I also owned a lot of hamsters. Well, I mean, yeah, we had like dozens of hamsters and literally like over like maybe almost 100 white mice, because those things just multiply like exponentially. It's really hard to control their population, but we had so many pets. We had doves, we had pigeons, we had lovebirds, we had owls at one point, we had a bunch of dogs, we had bunnies and hamsters and stray cats and fish and all of that stuff. I loved animals. So I kind of just had to put myself into the shoes of this kid who was going to stay in this room. So there's a lot of animal stuff, a lot of stuff that came with my first pet stuff has been used, so that might be a little bit controversial for those of you guys who do not approve of that stuff pack. But I did use the hamster thing and other stuff that came with my first pet stuff. I also put this cat condo. I believe this is considered a cat condo or like a cat treehouse or something. I'm trying to take a sneak peek of what it's actually called, but I think that is a spot where a cat can sleep, because I didn't put like an actual pet bed, because I believe that is a thing that a cat can sleep in. I mean, yeah, it totally can. So yeah. And I just really love how this room came together. There's so many fun stuff, and I really like the fact that the cat gets to sleep with our little child. I really do. So yeah, I never really slept with pets though. Growing up, I have very sensitive skin. Like, growing up, I had so many allergies, so I wasn't particularly allergic to pets and stuff, but for some reason my mom just, you know, she allowed us to keep like all kinds of pets that we wanted, just not sleep with them. Even though the closest I got to that was having a dog. It was a very interesting dog. It was gray color, which I'm now beginning to find out is a very unusual color for a dog, because I haven't seen a lot of gray dogs. But that dog, it was an indoor dog. We had way too many dogs that some of them had to be kept outside in their own doghouse, and some of them had to be kept inside to watch over us. And the dog that I'm talking about is the one that, you know, stayed with us inside. And that dog, it would always sleep outside of our door. Like, you could literally hear it like nudge up against the door. I think it just wanted to be close to us. It's either that or the air conditioning was like, the cold from the air conditioning was coming out of that door, so it was trying to be close to it as possible. So I miss that dog. Anyway, so right now we're working on the guest bedroom actually, and to be honest, this is like the most generic room. Like, it's like the most basic room ever. But I still put a lot of style to it, I guess, you know, so there's a lot of detail. I love how the bed in this room is actually the most expensive bed in the entire house. So that's a really funny thing. Oh, by the way, you guys can see some stuff already added here, because at this point I've already put like all of the pet stuff in the hallway. I've also pretty much furnished the entire hallway. By the way, I forgot to say that there is also like a mudroom downstairs, and there's another bathroom downstairs as well. So yeah, all of those had to be furnished off camera, because literally there was nothing special about furnishing those, and I'd rather show you guys something more interesting because that's just how I feel like showing you guys. Whatever, because yeah, like those things I mentioned before, they're not really interesting to look at. I didn't really do anything different. Speaking of doing things differently, I did this thing where I put like a really large balcony terrace thing, and it's filled with activities. So it's got like an exercise area, it's got like a lounge area. I really like that area. In reality though, it might be a little bit too cold to actually work out in that area, but I think it still works. I think it works. So over here in front, I did something different because typically I would put a fence, but in this case it's kind of just like a hedge running through the entire length of the front of the house. I really like this one because it's kind of different from what I would normally do. And I just put like some flowers and like some, you know, some plants and stuff over there, some hedges and stuff. I really like how it came out in the end actually, so that's that. For the landscaping, obviously, I had to edit out a lot of it, so the landscaping, I only include the ones I did in front. The back also has quite a bit of landscaping as well, but it's almost identical to the one in front. Like, I used the exact same flowers, so yeah, I used the exact same flowers and hedges, so it's you guys aren't really missing out on anything. So yeah, I really like how the front landscaping looks actually. In a little bit, you guys will see me put in some trees. I really like the sheltered shaded look of the front, because I put like these really massive trees, and they're the ones that came with pets, by the way. So yeah, in a little bit, I'm still figuring out how to incorporate this mailbox, and I just decided to, you know, make a little special spot for it over here, because typically I just forget about the mailbox. Oh my gosh, one thing that I did forget was a garbage bin. I totally have to remind myself to put that in before I upload this, but typically I just, you know, ignore the mailbox and just place it somewhere else. So yeah, obviously there's a garage, but the garage is not functional. You can't even have a car inside of the garage, because what's inside of the garage is the laundry area and the powder room, which is actually a full bathroom. Oh, by the way, this is us placing the trees, and I really love the look of these trees. I was very careful to make sure not to put the trees up too close to the house because I didn't want them to clip into the interior, so you guys don't have to worry about that. I think at the back there's also quite a large tree as well, but basically what I put here is like a little barbecue area. Of course, this patio table, it's gotta be in every build that I do because I really love that. So it's one of my favorite patio tables, so unsurprisingly it's like in all of my builds. There's also a little fountain outside as well, so you guys can see a little bit of that as well over there. And yeah, I'm just adding in some extra trees just to have a little bit more shade over here out back. And yeah, I don't know what else we're putting. Okay, so the last couple of details that we're putting are actually these beautiful fairy lights. I really like this actually. I don't know why, but they look so awesome, and I feel like they look really good over here out back. So, you know, I just threw in those nice little fairy holiday lights on the back. Speaking of holiday, it makes me think of Seasons, which is coming really soon, but that video, I'm going to be talking about that in another video is what I'm trying to say. But it looks like this video is coming to an end, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this commentary right here. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed enough to help support the channel by sharing the video and also subscribing to the channel. And also leaving a like and a comment is very much appreciated as well. And don't forget to ask me questions for my birthday Q&A video, which will be up really soon as well. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!